Hi, everybody. My name is Mike Manning.
And I'm Trinity French.
And we are your business coaches at Wired to Change.
With the number 2.
We help you get your business to the level you want it to be so you can enjoy the life of a small business owner.
Insert sarcasm here.
You walked in with a logo or a T-shirt with letters on it today. I think that's a first.
I did. I know. I was feeling a little campy.
Yeah.
And I was at my favorite store. More sarcasm. Nope, I was at Walmart.
Oh, see, I told you good things happen at Walmart.
And I tell you what happens at Walmart. I walk through and I see things for like $5.68, and I'm like, how can I not buy this?
Yes.
And then I wind up with a T-shirt that says, I can't even remember what
Motivator, innovator, believer, teacher.
Yes. And I thought that summarized me pretty well.
And in cursive, it should say badass.
It should.
That would round out the T-shirt.
Maybe I'll take this over to the guys at Big Frog and have them put a honey badger on the back.
It's Dave Riddell, if you're listening,
yes.
We need badass on the front and
badass
honey badger on the back.
honey badger on the back. Well, you know, the honey badger's super excited today.
Good.
Because we have a very, 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 very special guest. The one, the only, the Miss Kim Niskey. Rhymes with whiskey. And even though Kim doesn't drink, I might do a shot later in your honor. So, Kim, welcome to the show.
Oh, absolutely. So glad to be here with Mike Manning and Trinity French.
Give me your damn notes. Give me these notes. Just answer the question.
I love it.
It's a privilege to be doing this with such people of high integrity who are experts in business coaching and sales training. You're both such innovators. I'd like to be part of that whole team.
Oh my gosh, you're hired. You are hired. This might be my favorite guest yet we've had on the show.
We just hired a PR director. We've been looking for a good one.
We didn't even know we needed it, and now here it is. But it makes sense because in the business that you're in, you are in the business of helping other businesses be better at what they do and to spread their word and to grow their clientele. So,
right. As the business development director at the Garner Chamber, which we are proud members of.
We are. Go Garner.
Kim kicks ass. But it's a pride thing to you. See, last month we got 22 new members. It's time for 25 this month, right? Mm-hmm. But you love that, right? You love that challenge.
So,
I know you do.
Love inviting them.
Yep. So I have a question because I don't know how this all came about. So how did you meet Kim?
We met, this would have been 2014-ish.
Yep.
Oh, wow. So you've known each other for a while.
Yeah, she was at the Raleigh Chamber, and my brother and I joined when we had our commercial cleaning company, and we met. And then we kind of not lost contact, but kind of went separate ways and then came back. Mary Elizabeth, I got a LinkedIn. So this is October. I would have gotten a LinkedIn about June maybe for Mary Elizabeth Twitty. And she approached me correctly on LinkedIn. She said, Mike, I just want to connect with you and say hi. And I wrote a note back. I said, thank you for not selling to me. And we started talking. Mm-hmm. And we did a one-to-one. And I always ask people where they network. She goes, I've networked, through the Garner Chamber. And we talked about this. And we like the smaller chambers. And so I told her, great, I'm interested. She goes, I'll set you up to be at our Friday event coming up and you can see what it's like. And then I'm walking into your favorite store one day and I get a call. I'm like, this is Mike. How can I help you? Mike, Kim Niskey. Kim, how are you?
Registration.
Because she was at the Garner Chamber, so that's how we reconnected. And that's probably about 50% of the reason why we ended up going to Garner was because I know you, and I know that it's going to be a good place. But out of the blue, Mike, Kim Niskey, I'm like, walking into Target, let me stop walking in the door. Yeah.
Well, and I remember before that, you would call me up and said, let's talk about it. I want to start podcasting. Yeah. And so he asked me to meet with him.
That's right. When you were at Marin's, we met at Panera's.
Yep.
Yeah,
we did.
That's right.
Yep.
Okay. But so we for a couple years we kind of so it's cool.
Then came back together.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of business and communication.
And the other part about
networks.
that story is I was just telling him what we're doing for businesses, and he goes, well, Kim, I think we might be interested in looking into this. So that's really how it came about.
And I'm more comfortable in a smaller chamber, especially on Zoom right now. I like logging on at 9:55 in the morning, and there's 30 or 40 people on there, and I now know half of them. I like that. developing the relationships even deeper. I'd rather develop 15 deep ones than 80. Oh, yeah, Mike, good to see you again. And wave your hands like there's nothing there. So I enjoy it.
And since my job is to invite the businesses into the chamber,
Yeah.
we have a lot of new faces
We do.
every time at that
Oh,
event.
yeah.
So it really, those events help
Yeah.
people understand a little bit more about the chamber.
And it does a couple of things. One, most people, and we had this conversation a couple weeks ago, we network so much. When you get in an industry or a niche, you're like, well, doesn't everybody do this? Like, and the answer is no. 90% of the people we probably come across outside of our networking group have never networked before, and they don't know how to do it. So it's great to see people jumping on at Garner Chamber, and they see the banner going back and forth, the breakout room, and then, okay, there's business here. You know, make sure you're talking with people. So I enjoy that. I'm a big fan of Zoom. It's far exceeded my expectations. But
Scott's totally going to roast you.
oh, sorry,
for
Scott.
using
Go to
Zoom.
meeting. Virtual.
Yeah, virtual.
Sorry,
virtual.
dude.
Oh, you're getting roasted.
Wait, stop right here. I so enjoy virtual meetings. See if
two.
I'll edit that out. Yeah.
Nope, you definitely got to leave that
I
in now.
keep forgetting. Sorry, Scott.
For those of you that are just tuning in, Scott is my lovely husband, and he's about to roast Mike.
Yes, deservedly so. Yeah.
And those events are just what part of what we do. Yeah.
Oh yeah, just a tip of the iceberg.
Well, I am going to get on one of these events at some point. I'm very excited
we're
to
glad to
when
have you.
I have a free Friday morning.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm looking forward because they're at 10, right?
10 to 11.
10
Yeah.
to
Yeah,
11.
yeah, maybe even tomorrow.
All right.
okay.
That would
Right?
be good.
I
Yeah,
know.
let's
That'd
do
be
it.
crazy. That
Let's
would be
do it.
crazy. So, Kim, before being the business development director at the Garner Chamber, what brought you to, well, one, how did you find the chamber and how did you get in that role? And two, what did you do before that?
So we have how much time?
Yeah.
So the short version of that would be in Greenville, South Carolina, I was working for a company and got approached by the president of that chamber to apply for the opening.
Okay.
So that's how I got into chamber work to begin with. I had always been years and years and years being an active member of a chamber for an employer, that kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as I got into that role in Greenville, I loved it. And so then I was convinced by the community that I should start my own company, a networking and sales coaching company. And then that was in 2007, and the crash came in 2008.
I remember that.
So are we going to pay the lights or pay Kim? Well, I guess we're going to pay the light. So basically in 2010, reached out to chambers, wanted to get back into chamber work, and took the offer from the Greater Raleigh Chamber. And so that's how I got to the Triangle in 2010.
Awesome. So the chamber actually brought you here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, very
Yeah.
cool.
And of course, I still live in North Raleigh, and I represent the Garner Chamber, so nobody seems to care, at least that I
Yep.
know of,
No.
because all the cities are represented in our membership anyway.
Yeah.
But as far as chambers in general go, because I know you want to talk about that today too, the chambers are all about keeping the businesses thriving and helping accelerate the growth of businesses any way we can. And, you know, we're kind of like a catalyst to bring the community together, which leads to more business and better quality of life kind of thing, right? And so what I love about the chamber work is that is the best way I can think of to personally try to help with that.
Right.
I love to try to make a difference in some way, and so I feel like that's kind of maybe what I can do with that.
Yeah,
with that
for
vehicle.
sure.
So what brought me to the Garner Chamber was maybe Neil Padgett will be listening to this, I don't know, but the former president actually tried to recruit me at a chamber event at the Raleigh Chamber event.
Hey, all's
In
fair,
front of one of
right?
management, right?
Oh, that's funny.
So Neil, if you're listening, okay. And so that's how, and that was about 4 or 5 years ago before I came on board for the Garner Chamber. And then circumstances happened where we ended up talking, and I thought, you know, I'm going to do due diligence and see what this is all about. And then I thought, why didn't I go there sooner? Because it's such a hot market. Because that's what chambers are all about, is the active chambers that
Yes.
are doing really good things in the community. It's without a chamber, how would a lot of that get done?
Right.
You know?
So what are some of the things that, for our listeners that might not be familiar, I mean, I feel like everyone's heard the term Chamber of Commerce. And they know in some capacity that businesses are a part of it. But I think other than that, the general public probably doesn't have a real good understanding of what a chamber does or how it provides value to the community.
So there's about 6,000 chambers in the country.
Okay.
A lot of people think they're government. Not at all. So we are funded exclusively by, from the members, whether it be memberships, sponsorships, that kind of a thing. And it's all about, so we don't exist to be a networking organization. The purpose, like I said earlier, is to really help keep the businesses thriving. So in Garner's case, the shopping center, White Oak Shopping Center, huge shopping center both sides of the highway. The intersection wasn't funded, so we got the DOT developer in town talking. We discovered a grant could be done to build 5 of the 6 million of that. And so I think without the chamber, we might not have the shopping center. And then the domino effect from that.
Right.
And so there's other chambers, I'm sure, in the Triangle that have similar stories. But it's all about, we're the catalyst, we're bringing the community together. If we're seeing things that are coming to a standstill, we're going to try to expedite and that kind of a thing. If that describes it better.
Yeah, I had no idea that that's something that the chamber would even dabble in, let alone be, a driving force in that. So that's pretty cool.
There's good weight that comes with the chamber name in a community. When a chamber goes to the elected leaders and say, this would be good for the community,
right.
The chamber and its membership are behind this. That generally makes phones start to ring and meetings start to happen.
Well, and a lot of times, in our case anyway, the town of Garner and ourselves we have a very strong relationship, even do a conference together. So when that's going on, so we're really doing well in the area. But as far as chambers in general go, I think there's no better time now that people realize the critical work the chambers are doing in the communities to, I'd say we're going to come out of this a lot stronger, and I think the chambers have a lot to do with that. And to that, I'm saying the members have a lot to do with it because they're all connecting with each other, they're engaging, they're doing, I call it their part. And so it's just all for the good, and it's just going to be stronger when we get out of this.
Because we have to support local businesses and keep each other open. And I don't know that there's a better vehicle than a chamber in any town, in any state.
And there's a stat that was, Shapiro Group did a study a few years back where they found that there's an 80% more likelihood that people will do business with a chamber member than not a chamber member. So it actually adds credibility to being a member. And we thank you for being members.
We are happy to. There's a reason why Kim has been recruited by 2 chambers of commerce that she won't tell you.
She's a superhero in disguise.
She is. At night, she fights crime.
She has a cape.
They flash the Kim signal, and here she comes.
I think from the small interactions that we've had and the time that I've known you, I think that you're really good at getting a zebra to change their stripes and to really decide that maybe, you change their mind about chamber membership. And I've seen that you've been really growing the chamber.
Thank you, Drago.
Yes. You just lost it.
That was awesome. I was wondering how you were going to do that, but we'll laugh at something later. But Kim, and I believe it's within the size of the chamber category nationally, you are number 2 in new members.
So in the tier that we're in for our chamber, which really is by like the dues amount. Number 2 in the United States in bringing in new members.
Would you not recruit her?
Yeah. Heck yeah. That's awesome. Congratulations.
But all the credit goes
Here we go.
to the staff, the members. They're very generous with their referrals. I educate people, and then they decide if they want to come in or not. So thankfully, a lot of them want to come in, but that's really how that came.
Would you agree then that you had at least 2% of something to do with that award? 1.5% to 2%. Would you at least agree with that?
I guess I'll
You're killing me. You're just killing me.
You know,
Gotta give credit where
I
the
find the
credit's due.
modesty very endearing.
It's crap. Just say thank you. And I believe at the Raleigh Chamber, you were
Thank you, Mike.
sixth or eighth. See, that didn't hurt. You were number 6 or number 8 in the Raleigh Chamber when you were there?
6.
Yeah. So you got a track record. But that's what
I enjoy it though.
But and it shows. But that's who people gravitate towards. And Trinity's that way as well. I mean, some people just are collectors, and people just get attracted to them. It's like, I need to learn more, hang out, and you tell me what to do and I'll do it type stuff. So you get credit. You may
Well,
not like
and
it, but you get credit.
What's great is the referrals that I get to, in my case, the referrals that I get to talk with they're great in their fields, and they're just great people. So that also helps because, you know,
Because people aren't going to refer you to a business that they think sucks, because then their reputation is on the line. So I would say that even the people that I've met through the Garner Chamber, I've been really impressed with just the caliber of people that are members.
we let Mike in anyway.
I know.
You had to. You got to let one.
Yeah,
gotta
had to let one
in.
slip through the cracks. Got to keep.
Somehow he got the invitation. I don't know.
In the 59 to 59 and a half age group, you got to take at least one a year. But we had Michelle Owens on a couple of weeks ago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the hat lady. We talked. We talked pies.
Of course,
and,
she's a member. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, we had a good talk. Yeah.
But there's a lot. There's a lot of good connectors, and it's also there's two parts to being part of the chamber in my mind. One is giving back to the community, and the other is networking. And you're right. People are going to call when they hear, "Oh, you're a chamber member," in certain cities. I don't think in every city they do, but certainly I would guess in smaller communities like Garner and Cary or Holly Springs or something like that, that carries a lot more weight than New York City or Dallas or something like that.
Well, I'd say this. I'd say in some of the communities like ourselves, when some of the non-members call on our members, they're going to say, "Go." They say, "Call the chamber." Like they actually say, "Call the chamber," because I guess they like them that much. They want them to be a member to do business. Because one of the ways that the members support each other is doing business with each other.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
And so right now, a lot of them are buying the gift cards to the retail establishments. They're not even needing the services right now, but they're buying them to just support them. I think that's awesome. When COVID hit, some of them offered to sanitize for free. I mean, and I'm guessing it's probably going around the country like that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I've heard so
Of course,
many
I know more about ours.
good stories about people doing things during COVID to help each other out and to really just keep driving the ball forward.
Yep.
Because otherwise, I mean, I don't know
You're
what
waiting.
these small businesses would do. They would just dry up, and we kept sharing the stat that 50% of small businesses aren't going to make it through this, which is heartbreaking to us as business coaches because we want everyone to succeed.
Right.
And to think that there's people out there that have worked really hard and through no fault of their own, come up against something, and they just might not have had the right resources to pivot. If the governor's telling you that you have to keep your doors closed, there's really not a whole lot you can do, and the money eventually is going to run out. So
Depending, I guess, on the industry, but I know, I mean, you have the services that you offer. My understanding is you can help a lot of these pivot in ways that they didn't even dream of. Like they didn't even think of it that way.
right.
That's what my understanding
yeah, you got to
Yeah.
get creative.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're pretty creative.
We are, but you have to. The folks that are going to, in the businesses that are going to come through COVID, learned how to manage it because we're not going to beat it. There's no beating it, but you can manage to get through that. Look at just the real estate world, all the things you guys have had to change just to show a house.
Oh, yeah.
But you managed it.
Managed it.
Yeah.
But it's, and it's just the new normal, masks and hand sanitizer and booties and gloves and goggles and hazmat suits, which is what I feel like I'm wearing. At least now, I was actually thinking this as I was walking into the building today because I put my mask on and I was like, I'm so glad it's not like 116 degrees out anymore because wearing a mask when it was that hot was brutal.
When this first started, though, in probably April and maybe May, wasn't there a limit on the number of people that could be in the house at one time?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they put limits on who could be in there and time frames in between showings that you had to have. And I mean, there was a lot of different stipulations that they put into place to keep everybody safe.
Yeah, but I'm sure some realtors said, you know what, I don't want to do that, and they're done. But you and the others, okay,
Right.
how do we manage this? So 3 can go in at a time. Okay, all right, you 3 first. We'll stay. I mean, it's not difficult. It's a pain in the ass at times, but it's not difficult to understand how to manage that. And
that's what's good. Chambers are bringing people together like that to have those conversations.
yeah,
Like, for example, some of our events, the small breakouts. So if you think about the world without chambers, what would that look like?
It would be so boring.
You'd have people just standing still. Growth would probably kind of stand still. We kind of align with economic development. I mean, I think about every once in a while, what would it look like without the chambers in the country? So the mass transit bill that came out in, 2015, all the chambers were behind that. So we don't get behind the social issues. We don't get behind the candidates. That's not what we do.
No.
Right.
At least
thankfully,
most of us don't. Maybe some of the state chambers do. But the mass transit bill had to pass because it just has to get funded now. But it had to pass because that's going to help with economic development.
Yeah.
So y'all don't have time to get together and do that yourselves. You need somebody else to do it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the weight of a chamber coming behind an issue in a small market.
Yep.
Oh, huge.
Yep.
It is huge. So how does a cool chick like you get from the University of Vermont to Garner, North Carolina? How does that happen?
Well, part of what we talked about is how I got here in 2010.
Getting recruited.
But
Yep.
Vermont, I don't know that I've met anybody that ever went to school
I'm a
there.
skier. Oh,
Okay.
Yeah. That decision was not made for the collegiate it wasn't made for the curriculum. It was made because it's got great skiing.
Okay.
Because here's the things that I never told you guys. So when I graduated at 17, because Mom had the 2 twins 17 months later. So Kim's going out to school at 4.
Oh, wow.
That's how that happened. Yeah, Kim's going to school at 4. So I'm like the youngest in the class, right? So I graduated at 17, and I said, well, I want to be a professional singer. They said, really? Well, if you fail, don't come running back to us. I'm like, oh, I guess I better go to college. Well, I guess I better go where I can ski. So University of Vermont, Smuggler's Notch gave the students a really great break on the season's pass.
Nice.
The classes were Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday. We'd ski Monday, Wednesday, Friday because the tourists would be skiing on the weekends. So that was
too
college.
funny.
Didn't major till junior year. Now
Yeah.
I got to catch up.
I mean, I got to study now.
Yep. So I was took the business curriculum, BS in administration is business administration what I got. And I thought, what's this marketing thing like this? And so I took the first one, and I was like, okay, I'm not sure about this. Then I took the second one that the professor wrote the book with case studies. Now, this is back, now my age will show. No internet. We have to in the library with the
I was there.
catalog,
I was
all
there.
of that kind of thing, right? And I loved it because you had to solve the cases. And so I ended up doing grad courses in marketing and all that, which helped me with what I do now. So from that point on, I was living in Hershey, Pennsylvania. And then I came back to Hershey, and that was like my first job. And then I thought, I'm going to go ski. I want to go where the real skiing is, go Colorado. So it's all been, the skiing is driving it all.
Yes.
So I get to Colorado, and my dad was working at Hershey Foods at the time. Ralston Purina was a hotel that Hershey Foods owned. Not hard to get a job. So I go out there. Well, I picked the front desk, and when I got the 7 to 3 shift, I said, let me switch with you. 3 to 11, I can go ski till I get on shift at 3. See, it was all about the skiing. I mean, eventually I got serious, right, about my career. But that's kind of a long version to the short question.
So do you still ski?
I don't. We I guess the weight and the physical whatever kind of got away from me, but I still have the skis just because I can't give them up.
When was the last time you skied?
Oh, wow. So Arizona, when I lived in there, I skied. So I'm going to guess that was 40-ish maybe.
Okay.
so I won't be saying how many.
3 years ago. Okay.
Yeah,
3 years ago.
That's not
3
so
years
bad.
ago. Okay.
Yeah, you need glasses.
I
Mike.
played this game before. I'm good at it, so yeah.
So what 3 tips would you give people if they were saying, I want to be a better networker and I want to maximize my membership at the chamber?
So let me answer it first with just general tips for business owners. Can I do that? Because
Sure.
I was a business owner, as you know, Mike, because he's apparently, stalked my whole profile.
As he does.
Tastefully.
Yes. So ConnectU is what I had formed and was a networking and sales coaching company. And so I know, having been a business owner, I know what I learned in that process. And I think it's the hardest thing to do is to, quote, sell yourself. Like I can sell a company and I don't want to call it selling, but I can do it better for someone else.
You could have the cure for cancer and would feel bad promoting yourself that you came up with that, wouldn't you? You would. It would bother you to no end. I don't want to tell you I did this, but yeah. Hilarious.
And then I'm over here with like my I cured cancer shirt on.
Bitch.
It was just the way I was brought up. So what I was going to say is
So humble.
is educate, don't sell. So what I learned fairly into my career, I think it took me a couple of years to learn it, is educate and don't sell. Because if you're educating, you're like going with facts, you're what's the sizzle of it all, and you're not, quote, selling, because nobody wants to be sold to. Follow up. How many of us know people that they just don't follow up?
She
right?
preaches.
Yeah.
Follow up
Preaches
is
that, yeah.
huge. So when I teach I have networking classes that I teach just for community stuff. And one of the things I say is, why'd you go to the event in the first place if you're not going to follow up, right?
True that.
There is no second question.
Right.
That's it.
And preceding that is, why don't you research the event? Maybe you shouldn't be going to it in the first place.
So I sell to dentists, but there's a cool legal. Jeez, no.
So the tips I have, it's really common sense.
Yeah.
It's research at first. It's educate, ask them questions. Who can, this from seeing me at events, who can I introduce you to? Who can I connect you with in that room? Blah, 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 right? And then the follow-up. And sometimes like they're like, Kim, you're actually following up. Like, well, yeah. We talked about, I'm going to call you at 11. Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
I said I was going to call.
I'm like, I wrote it on the card as you were talking to me, like, of course I'm going to do that, right? So anyway, those are some of the tips. Now, the other ones you said is members, and I'm sorry.
Well, I was just thinking,
I got
if
distracted.
Joining a chamber,
if somebody was joining a chamber, how would they maximize the use of their membership?
Okay. When someone's joining a chamber, if they have talked with me with a conversation first, I'm going to say it that way because I don't know about others joining
the lesser chambers that you don't want to acknowledge.
I am not saying that at all.
Atta girl. I am.
All chambers are great.
Atta girl.
No, I would never
But
say
not
that.
created
I'm
equally.
just saying I only know how I do it
Right.
and how they would be after that. So, yeah, we'll deal with you later, Mike. So, the whole key is at least do something with it every month.
Yeah. Whether
it's go in the directory and call somebody, or in our case, even some of our levels, we give them the Excel sheet with the members on it. Engage somehow once a month. Make that your minimum goal. Doesn't have to be an event. It could just, reach out and do coffee, or call them up and say, what providers are you looking for? I just talked to a manufacturer yesterday. What providers are you looking for? We have people in the community, in the chamber community, that you would want to be talking with. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And the other thing is, pay attention to what the chamber's doing. So we're sending emails out. We're trying to do that as minimally as possible. If we're sending out the new member list once a month, for example, that we do, hey, welcome them. Welcome the fellow members. You might even get business that way. Invite them. Use our opportunities as connection opportunities. Invite them to get on our Connect conference or the virtual networking events and things like that. I think when people join and they think, I'm going to be on the directory, and that's all I really need to do, I'm not so sure that's going to work so well.
Lazy asses. They need to step up their game.
That's the equivalent of putting your sign in a yard, but never putting it in the MLS system.
Yeah.
So
on a bus.
Yeah.
Or being a member
Which your face should be on a bus.
Or being a member of a fitness club and not going, right?
Yeah,
Who would
let's
do
not
that?
talk about that.
Like, I'm thinking about going, so I'm losing weight, right? So
I feel better just knowing I joined.
I am actively donating to my gym right now.
And I also think paying attention to what's the community. You could live in North Raleigh, be a Garner Chamber member, which we have several of those, but know what the market's doing and know what like the surrounding market's doing, because you can help the people who live in that core market with what you're paying attention to. Maybe it relates to where you actually are located or whatever, if that makes any sense.
It does.
I think it's all about. It's about keeping abreast of what's going on. It's about engaging if you can. It's know who the leaders are in the community. If that answers your question.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know Mike tends to. I think I do long answers. Sorry.
That's all right.
If
Mike
you
can
were
edit
so
it
bad
out.
at this, I would not be writing anything down.
Yeah, he's
Mike's
on the second
over here
page, by the
taking
way.
frantic
Well,
notes.
I'm writing down, why did I invite her? Why did I? Like Bart Simpson on the street. Why did I? I'm writing your nuggets down because they're good. Lord.
We only do this show so we can learn something every
Yes.
time.
I think it's great. Yeah.
And, occasionally provide insight for our listeners.
Okay, that's the goal eventually.
Make them laugh a
By
little.
the 32nd minute, we try to make sure.
And I would say this: if you're not going to join the Garner Chamber, join one of them.
Yes.
Join one of them, because you're missing. I believe you're missing out if you're not a member of a chamber. And some of our members are members of 3 of them. Some of our members are members of all of them.
I've noticed that, yeah. I'm curious to know how that works out, but I've seen a couple people, yeah.
Yeah. So I have a passion for what I do. I think you can tell.
If there's somebody listening today anywhere around the, we have listeners around the country, and they're
around the world.
We are, but I don't know how global chambers work. I don't know what they call them over there, but in the U.S., I know what they call them. If they are not a member of the chamber, you would recommend just find a Zoom event. You don't even have to leave the house. It's so easy now to network because you don't have to walk out of the house. You don't have to look at somebody face to face and shake their hand.
You don't have to put on pants.
Exactly, which is the name of our next podcast.
Yeah. The No Pants Podcast.
Yeah, just jump on a Zoom call and just see what it's like, right? One time for an hour, hour and a half, just see what it's like.
So what I'd recommend, I think it's really better to talk with them first before they get on that event.
Okay.
Because then they know more of what our purpose and what we're doing. And then when they get on that event, they know that's not just what we do. So yes, we like visitors, but to me, I think having worked for several few chambers, that works better because now they really know who we are, what are we about before they do that.
And you would tell them, you would have an idea of a couple people you would want them to meet because you have a sense of who's coming every week. Okay. So if somebody's out there that's not a member of the chamber, please try this and email us at info@wiredtochange.com. We want to know if it worked for you. We believe it will.
Yeah.
If you go in with the correct attitude, like, you know what? I don't have to leave my house. I'm going to try this out.
So I have a totally random question for you, completely unzebra related.
I was just going to ask.
And I'm curious, what is and it doesn't have to be necessarily the Garner Chamber. It could have been the Raleigh Chamber. It could have been Chamber in Greenville. What is the most interesting business that has joined the chamber that you've seen?
Oh, that's easy.
What's that?
Mobot joined Garner Chamber.
Yes.
The what?
Mobot is a robot lawnmower.
Yeah.
That's the one that comes right to my mind.
Okay, yeah. I've
It's a
never heard of
franchise.
a robot lawnmower.
Mobot, yeah.
Yep.
Mobot,
So
okay.
Tim, if you're listening, there you go. There's your
Yeah.
plug.
Awesome.
Isn't it a riot?
Yeah,
and I
that
didn't know it
is.
existed until
I kind of want one. Is it like the Roomba? The Roomba of
Right.
Actually,
it even knows how to charge its.
I wonder because we saw a little robot when we were building our house.
That might have been it.
That was going around the grounds,
That might
and
have been
I wonder if that was what did you call it? Mobot?
Mobot, and it also
Yeah,
knows
Mobot.
it knows when to charge itself too.
Ooh, that's even better.
Yeah, that's the most interesting one that's off top of mind. Yeah, they're a brand new member, I think 2 months ago.
Yeah, he just joined.
That's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Wasn't that
That's a
pretty
great
neat?
idea.
Yeah.
Again, how can we make life easier for Americans?
Seriously.
First the remote, first the microwave. No, I
Yep.
think the remote, then the microwave. Yeah,
Yep.
now it's delivering food to your house. Amazon comes up, makes a few billion,
Yep.
right? And now we got robots.
Now we have
cutting your
Mobot.
grass.
I love it because I already like my
Roomba?
my Roomba.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You and Scott, for your 9th revenue stream in the French household, need to invent a robot that'll take your dogs out to pee.
And do the dishes.
Yeah. That would be amazing.
And then beat that. Well, you can't say that to a dog, yeah. And then chastise them when they
When
don't
they
pee
don't.
outside but pee inside. Trinity's got a couple of dogs haven't figured it out. You're supposed to pee outside, not when you come back inside. So
They've gotten much better with the peeing.
Okay.
It's the eating crap and then throwing up and shitting where they're not supposed to be because they have upset stomachs. And for like days, I felt like all I did was clean up dog poop.
we had one of our dogs start eating the sofa.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Little.
That'll make you throw up.
Wow.
Yeah.
It made sense when because I thought they were because Scott cooks a lot and he's a good cook. So I thought maybe the dog grabbed something with a spice or something. She goes, no. He was just he was eating the sofa. Like,
Yeah. He was eating the tassels off of the. And anyways, I digress. He's a jerk, but.
so.
And I know, you know what? And I know that little jerk isn't listening to this podcast. So he gets no more airtime.
There you go.
Well, one of the things I
Kim-
wanted to say
oh,
today
yep.
was Matthew Coppage, our president. Think about this. End of February, he starts as
Yeah.
president of our chamber.
Oh,
End
wow.
of February. So at lockdown, he got a group together. We raised $55,000, and then we gave away grants up to $2,000 to businesses in critical need. By the third week of March, we were virtual with our events. So I
You get-
can't imagine starting at
Yeah.
a new place of business
And that's the first thing that you get
and
thrown
he gets
into.
hit with
Yeah.
So I just thought I'd say that today.
No.
So we owe a lot
Yep.
to Matthew.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Thank you,
So,
Matthew. Thank you,
One
April.
more question for you.
Okay.
You're sitting here with two pretty amazing business coaches.
It's in your notes. I
Yes.
saw
Yeah.
it. So.
Uh-huh. So what question do you have for us that we can answer for our listeners?
Okay. When a business is seeing the P&L go how they don't want it to go, considering I realize it could be by type of industry, but I was thinking there's got to be something that you're going to tell them probably first to do.
Well, one, I would be just tickled pink if somebody was regularly reviewing their
Yes.
P&L, because so many small businesses don't. And some of them don't even know that they need one or have one.
Yeah.
So I would say that would be number one. And then the second would be going back to root cause analysis and figuring out what is the change that's happened within the business. Is it a sales functionality? Is it an overspending functionality?
Okay.
Like we would analyze and review the P&L to find out where the holes are.
So you do a needs analysis. Okay.
Yeah. Because it's pretty simple. It's either you're not making enough money coming in or you're spending too much of the money that's coming in. So, and most businesses, when they see an uptick in revenue, instantly start increasing their spending instead of pocketing that for profit. So, and it is smart to reinvest back into your business, but there is a point of where it's no longer giving you a return.
So that's going to determine what you'll tell them to do next.
When you can look at something, find out the when and the why. Hey, what's the significance of April 27th is when all this started. And they're like, oh, that's when one of our partners left or we brought on somebody or whatever it is. But it's like, oh, okay. And then, but to find out the why is the first thing because something triggered it.
Well, the way I look at your business coaching company is you're actually helping with economic development, because you don't know the one that you're working with couldn't be the next Bill Gates.
That is very true.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they don't necessarily have to be in a bad P&L situation. They can
Yep.
just recognize that, okay, I want to step it up.
I want to
And
improve
so
it.
I look at your business as helping with economic development. That's how I look at it.
And
So I'm glad
that's
you're members of our chamber.
why I got into coaching to begin with, because, well, when I was little, I wanted to be a child placement attorney because I wanted to help all the children get into better foster care and foster to permanent housing, which then I found out that people that do family practice law don't make any money, and my love of money won out. So I got into real estate and coaching instead. But it is definitely a way that we can give back for both people professionally and also personally. So, you know, maybe they could be the next Bill Gates, or they could just be now in a situation where they can insure their family, or wow, they're looking at their P&L and they're like, I've actually had a positive net income stream coming in for 6 months in a row, and they have some stability in their lives, or they're actually saving money from the business and no longer hemorrhaging money or using their personal funds to cover business expenses. So it really is very rewarding what we get to do on a daily basis.
Well, the other thing I thought about,
No, good.
is the spouses sometimes don't know enough to understand.
Mm-hmm.
If they know that their spouse is working with an expert, they'll be more at ease about how things maybe they should be going better than they thought, but now they understand why. And so when you've got that outside influence in that part of it, to me, that's going to help. It might mean that marriage counselors don't have as many people coming to them,
Yep.
actually.
Which would be a good thing as well. Hey, look
just
at
kinda
us.
think big picture.
Just helping people's marriages.
Put that on our website, marriage counselors. But last bullet point there, Sam.
Well, Kim, if people are out there in the Garner area and they're like, man, I want to hang out with Trinity and Mike more, and they want to join the chamber, how would they get a hold of you?
So you would go to, I love phone calls. That's what I love the most.
Okay.
So 919-906-3030. That's my cell. That's my office. That's all of it. The email address is kniskey, so KNISKEY, @garnerchamber.com. I have a LinkedIn profile. I have a Facebook profile. And then our website is www.garnerchamber.com.
Awesome.
But the phone is what I love. I can build the relationships much better with the phone.
And if you're listening and you didn't catch all that and you don't feel like rewinding the show to write it down, you can email us info@wiredtochange.com, and we would be more than happy to make an introduction to Kim and to join you on our merry band of business owners.
And I will have that in the show notes as well, so people can find it there.
And happy to talk with anyone who wants to learn more about our chamber.
Look into it, folks. I'm telling you, it's a nice part of your marketing plan is what it should be, and it will pay dividends for you if you, like Kim said earlier, if you activate it. It'll pay dividends for you.
Thank you
Gotta
so
take
much for
action.
having me.
Thank you. We had a blast.
Show
So,
notes. You got
okay,
notes.
one last question. Was it as scary as you thought it was going to be?
No, you make it very, to everybody listening, if they
Yep.
ask you to be on a podcast, it's very comfortable. They let you lean back. It's wonderful.
Perfect. And we're here in our favorite podcasting studio, the Purple Comma Studio.
Absolutely.
And Drago's in there making sure that our lives are much easier and that we sound good. So we appreciate him as well.
We have a new program coming out. We talked earlier about networking, and for people who have fear of introducing themselves on their elevator pitch or their commercial, we have a new program called Pitch Your Niche. We don't promise many things, but we promise you'll be better after this program. So if you don't know, if you stand up and keep saying what I do and never talk about how and why or tell a story to personally connect, we got you covered on that. So go to our website, check that out, sign up.
Mike is the master of the 60-second elevator pitch, so he will make sure that yours is top notch.
It's very easy because if you use a word I don't understand, I'm going to make you cut it out. So let's get rid of these Ivy League words. Let's go to the playground in 6th grade and yet let's use real talk.
And
This is what I
if
do.
you decide that you want to wrap it out, I'll hop on the call with you.
Trinity is the rapping queen. Yes.
Yes.
We can do that.
And if you want to hear Mike do it live, then come to a chamber event because he's on most of
Absolutely.
those Friday events, and you can hear it live right there.
I'm going to roll that out tomorrow. So, yeah. So, anyways, we've enjoyed it very much. Glad you came on with
Thank
us.
you.
We're big fans of the Chamber. Please go to GarnerChamber.com. Check out what they're doing. Matthew and April and Kim. And who's the other lady?
Terry.
Never see her, but yeah. So,
She's
but anyways, the
always
four of them managing everything, keeping businesses going, which is important right now through COVID, that we all stick together on this.
Absolutely.
And we'll see you next time on our Wired to Change podcast.
Thanks again.